Hi my friends, happy Saturday, nice weather, sun is shining, I love it. The sun always makes me happy. Well, I'm happy either way because I have Jesus on the inside. Today I want to testify a little bit to you guys. I want to give you a special testimony that God asked me the other day if I would tell you this. It's very personal, so it cost me a little bit to tell this. But the other day I got this burden from God in my heart for the unborn babies that are killed through abortion. So I want to talk about abortion today. It's very serious what nations are doing, and they extending the time where you can carry a baby now for 9 months. I have no words. I mean, I never liked abortion, always been against it, so to speak. I'll tell you my story very soon. But this 9 months pregnancy, and then you can kill your baby, because that's what it is. It's killing innocent lives. And I think, to be a little political right now, that's why Donald Trump has so much hate against him in this election, is also what he stands up for. That he stands up for the truth. He stands up for God's principles in this nation, and he's a smart man, because if you are a leader and you lift up God's principles in your nation, you will be blessed. You will bless your nation. But see, if the enemy has had a stronghold and principalities has been ruling over that nation big time, there is quite a work to be done to raise up God's principles. There will be, like this, enormous hate coming against this man. So if you're a little tuned in the spirit, you would know that this is God's man for this hour in America. And actually, his role as a president will affect the whole world. It's a global thing, but that is another subject that I will take in another video in here. I want to go back to the abortion. I don't think leaders of nations understand why it is so dangerous to allow and justify abortion. And they have a law system that is backing that lie up in the nation for women to go and kill their kids. You're killing innocent babies. And in the spirit over that nation, you are actually saying to hell and the demons, be my guest. You can enter into my nation and just start to ruin things in my nation now. You're allowed to come into my nation because I justify murder. I justify things that are against you, God. And then the enemy are allowed to come in and torture that nation. He's allowed to have strongholds there because the leadership has legalized darkness in a way. They have. And I'm a woman. I have a child, a beautiful daughter that I love very, very much. I'm going to tell you my story. You see, when a woman, God has done a sort of how do you call it in English? I forgot that word. An agreement, so to speak, with women on this planet. We are life givers together with God. God gives the life, but we are birthing it out. We are life givers on this planet. And to be able to bring forth a baby is a huge blessing. Many women on this planet cannot have kids. They're crying and they're doing everything they can. They are mourning and in sorrow because they can't have kids. And here you go into the abortion clinic and just get rid of that baby like you get rid of, I don't know, some insect or something. And maybe that same woman who are taking an abortion are mourning over the dog, the family dog that died for 1 month ago. That is a bigger issue for some families, that they lost their dog. They're mourning, grieving over that old dog. But to take a baby and kill a baby, that's okay. It's not okay. And it's very serious. And I'm going to tell you a little bit also what's happening in the woman's body when we are pregnant. You see, the woman's body loves to be pregnant. We are born to carry babies. And the body of a woman loves it. She loves, that woman's body loves to carry that baby. It's the best detox in this world, because that pregnancy is so healthy for the body that it cleanses out everything in her blood. True story. It takes 5 years for our bodies inward to be restored back to normal again. But during those 5 years time, the woman's body starts to crave to be pregnant again. Because the body loves being in pregnancy. We're born for this. And when a woman decides that she doesn't want to have a baby, she's going to take an abortion, she's cutting off something in her body that is not natural. And it gives her physical consequences. I know many women who are struggling with different kind of diseases that are based on their abortion. And because it's not right. It's not right from the nature. I mean, regardless of your story, how you got pregnant with whom and so on, there are millions of women who would love to have your baby. Instead of you killing that baby, you should give it away to someone who feels that this is a gift from heaven, because it is. And before I tell my story, I will read a scripture, 2 scriptures in here. The first is Jeremiah 1. God says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." Can you believe it? That's how special every one of us is. God appointed a certain time for us to be birthed out, and He even knew you before you were in your mother's womb. So all those babies that are killed, they are God's love thought. They were made in His image. God had a huge plans for those babies. He had assignments for all these beautiful babies that you allow yourself to go and kill. You think it's okay. You're justifying that you can take life. We are not allowed to take anyone's life. And still the nations are legalizing that as typical normal. The women needs to make a decision on their own. It's freedom and so on. That's, excuse my language, that's bullshit. Because you're denying the truth. The truth is that you're actually killing an innocent life. And you're denying that innocent life to come alive, to be birthed out. You should be lucky that you are pregnant, that you are capable of having a child inside of you. Is a present from heaven. And I want to read also just some verses from Psalm 139. It says, "For you created my innermost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." And that is just a little bit how awesome God's thoughts are for each and one of us. Even before we are born, God had set an assignment, a plan, a purpose for each and one of us. That's why you are a woman in here. You have no right to take a life. You have no right, and there are serious consequences for abortion, first in your body and mentally and spiritually. And also for a nation, it's very dangerous. I believe that a nation can be judged and almost cursed by heaven for allowing these laws of justice against God's principles. And now I'm going to tell you shortly my version of, the sun was in the way, my story about abortion. You see, I was 23 years old. I lived in Sweden. I was like independent, and I was a party girl. I was a model, and I wanted to go to London and do some work there. I had plans, and I was not, in a place where I wanted to settle down with anybody, or I didn't want to have any family yet. I pictured that, in my future, but not at that time. And I met this guy accidentally that was not a particularly nice person, actually. So I got pregnant, and I was so discouraged when I discovered that I was pregnant, because I didn't want to be pregnant. I was brought up in a Christian home, okay, where I'm taught all my life that you don't take life. It was in my backbone, and it's the truth. But I was living this non-Christian lifestyle, so I didn't call myself Christian at that time, even if I had my belief system in my heart. But I am not a hypocrite, so I couldn't call myself Christian because I lived a certain lifestyle. And it was in this season of my life that I found myself being pregnant with this guy that I certainly didn't want to have in my life. I didn't want anything to do with that guy. I didn't want him to be in my future, and I didn't want to have a child. True story. So I was devastated. I didn't know what to do. And I started to maybe consciously make these excuses for myself why I should take an abortion. I'm immature, I'm going to be a bad mother, I'm not ready to have a child, I'm too young, the father is the wrong guy, I don't want to be connected to him for 40 years, definitely not, he's not my husband or anything. And maybe if the baby's damaged in a way, I start thinking like that. Maybe I can't give birth to a child that maybe has lacking a foot or an arm or are handicapped in a way. So I had these 3 excuses. So I signed up, I went to the abortion clinic, and I signed up for an abortion. And I came into the abortion clinic to talk to them first. And when I was sitting in the room there, you know, the atmosphere in an abortion clinic is like death. It's a spirit of death in there. Because that's what they do there. They kill babies. And I was sitting in this room together with other women who also had an appointment to take an abortion. There were young, very young girls and some older women, rich women. I could almost see their story, how their lifestyle, you know, didn't fit into being a mother. They had all these excuses too. And while I was sitting there, suddenly I saw the corridor in the floor turn like foggy. And I think God showed me a glimpse of something. And I started to hear laughter and kids running up and down the corridor. And God said to me, this is a glimpse of those kids that should be alive, that are dead, that have been killed in this hospital here. So that freaked me out. I remember that. I came into the doctor. I had written in a book about pregnancy that when you are 10 weeks old, the baby is 10 weeks old, like my baby was, it's actually finished. It has toes and fingers and everything. It's just a mini baby in there, but it's complete, you know. So I knew that. So when he started to examine me, he was really harsh, very brutal in a way. And I said, hey, take it easy. There is 10 weeks baby in my body. And he looked at me very cold and he said, there's nothing in there. 10 weeks is nothing. And I almost got the chills, you know, of the coldness over his eyes and his ways of speaking. So they almost convinced me that I should sign up for abortion 1 week later. They said, yeah, you know, you can't have this baby, you know, you can't handle it, and you probably, maybe it's going to be a damaged baby. You never know, you know, maybe something is going to happen to the baby in the pregnancy and you shouldn't take that risk. So we recommend you sign these papers here. So I signed it. I did. I signed it and I was on my way home. It was 1 week before the abortion. And I cried the whole way in the subway, I remember. And I was so confused, more confused than ever. And I remember I came to this big highway in Stockholm and I just walked past that highway without turning my face. If there was trucks or cars coming really fast, I was like, I don't care. Maybe it's better I don't exist. I can't make a decision. I don't know what to do. So I just walked over that highway without turning my head. I came home and the week that I was waiting for my abortion, I had these nightmares every night that the sun is really bothering me. Sorry guys. That I was taking an abortion on myself. And I tried to kill the baby on my own in the dream. And I cut the baby's body in pieces in the dream. Terrible, terrible dream. But it lived. Every piece lived. It didn't matter what I did with the baby. It lived and lived and lived and lived. And God spoke to me in those dreams. He said, Elena, it doesn't matter what you are doing with this pregnancy. It will always haunt you. You will never get rid of that child. One way or another, you will be haunted by what you have done. You can't kill this baby. And I was so devastated and I was so confused. So I went the day before the abortion. I I went on an airplane to Norway to visit my mother because I wanted to protect myself from myself. Because I was so unsure what I was going to do. What if I made the abortion and the regret after? And today I know it wouldn't suit me because I would be devastated and have maybe mental problems if I have done it. So I came to Norway. My mother is a wise woman. She took me to the hospital, to the ultrasound, and I heard the little heartbeat. My little baby, I heard a heartbeat. How could I possibly kill that? An innocent life with a beating heart. And I knew I love that child. I can't, regardless of the circumstances, I can't take it away. I can't kill this baby. So I made that decision, the best decision I made in my life. It's the best mistake I've done. And I'm so happy that I never done an abortion in my life. And I'm not condemning you who have done it, because there is grace. But I want you to understand the facts and the consequences, around an abortion, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And also for a whole nation to defend such a terrible thing. God is going to do something with those nations that are defending something that is completely against God's principles. Because God is life and He has given us life. And those babies have the right to live. And I want this to be so serious for you today that you really understand how important it is to lift up the life of an innocent baby. We are not taking lives. We are not. We are defender of life. And God is the one who has given us this life here on earth. So I just wanted to share this story because God said to me that someone in here need to hear this. I almost did it, people, but I didn't do it. And I know when you have a situation as a woman, maybe you've been raped, maybe you have reasons in the natural for taking away that child. Actually, you don't have reasons. In my opinion, you don't have any reasons that are good enough, because regardless of you can't have that child yourself, you can give it to somebody else. You can bless a family on this planet with a baby that deserves to live. Like I've read to you here from Psalm 139, that before you were formed in your mother's womb, God knew you. So I just wanted to say this today about abortion. And as I said, there's no condemnation. God is full of grace. If you have done an abortion or several, just come before God today and apologize and ask Him to cleanse you and repent from that sin, because it's a sin. We are not allowed to take lives. And God understands your situation, He does. But there are other ways to solve that problem. I have a beautiful daughter that I love so much. And I even have a grandson. And I'm so rich. I love my daughter so much. I mean, she's my jewel in my life. She's my treasure, my blessing. Everything that I could ask for, I got in her. She's such a beautiful human being. And there's such a purpose over her life. And she's so gifted. And can you imagine if I did that abortion that time? I would never see my beautiful child. I would never see what God has created in her. and the purpose she has, and how many people she is going to bless in this life, with her life. And now she is a mother and have a beautiful son. So this was my testimony, people. I just want to share it with you guys. And yeah, God bless you. I was open today to share this because it's part of my story. And I just want to encourage women to lift up life. You will be blessed if you make the right decision, my friend. God will bless you. He has hundreds of ways to help you. It's not over. He will bless your life if you follow His principles. Okay? God bless you. I love you. Have a wonderful weekend, and I talk to you soon. My precious friend. Amen.